Hi, guys. Welcome to Chakra Sessions. We are here on Be Live TV for the first time, and I want to invite you into my home, into my space, and welcome you while we do some beautiful healing work today. I hope you are ready for that. I want to put a big shout out to Denise, who her show was right before mine, and I'm hoping that you guys will tap into both of ours, because what a great way to spend a beautiful morning just taking care of yourself and finding ways to create new healing for yourself and the planet. So welcome everybody. Hi Rob, how you doing, sweetheart? I'm glad to see you. So today I am talking about something that actually, it's always funny how spirit works. Whenever there's a big event that happens on the planet, we all are left in shock and wonder. And my topic was chosen quite a bit ago, and it's calming the flames of anger. And how interesting that would turn up today, because there's a lot of righteous anger that is floating about. And maybe there's some other types of anger that you're dealing with. I know I am on a multitude of levels. And when we are calming those flames, it's so that we can have clarity and take action. Because when we're in a state of anger or hatred or frustration, we can't actually do anything. And yeah, there's some people who are lucky enough to not get angry. But in this space, we need to learn how to deal with people who are, because even if we're really calm and centered, we tend to run across people who aren't. All you have to do is get in your car, take a drive, and go to the grocery store, and you will encounter a few people who might be mulling around in their own personal anger. And how do you release that, and how do you not take it on for yourself? So good morning, everybody. I'm loving it. Everybody's saying hi. This is awesome. So as we move forward, we are all about shining our own light. And anger actually creates a sort of dampening around our energy field, around our aura, and it makes us feel like our light is dimmer or that it's compressed. And now there are times when getting angry is perfect, because it's clearing the energy out of you that shouldn't be in you anymore. And when that's what you need to do to let stuff go, then absolutely let that go. And for me, I had this really cool anger session about a week and a half ago, where I just used some sticks, and I banged them on the side of the railing. So I used the wood to ground me, and I just yelled what I needed to yell, and I did all of that. And then I took the sticks and I put them in my sacred fire, and I thanked them for allowing me to release my anger in that way. And I gave tobacco and some herbs and stuff to thank the wood for allowing me to release what was burning in me. And then I meditated with the fire and with that, so that I could get back to my place. It allowed that anger to kind of blow out, probably in about 5 minutes, to be truthful, and just really center myself back. So we're allowed to feel angry. I'm not telling you not to feel angry, because the more you try not to, the more you actually will attract it. So allow yourself to get angry if you need to, but you don't need to hold on to the anger. So in this space, I just want to remind you that I'm telling you how to calm your anger so it doesn't consume you and run your life. But I am not in any way, shape, or form telling you not to get angry. Because if you don't get angry when you need to, you're actually sort of tilting your energies, you're tilting your chakras in a way that doesn't allow the full flow to happen, because we're as much fire as we are water. So just because somebody said it was okay to cry, so you're easier at releasing water, doesn't mean you don't have that fire and that you need to learn how to release that too, because we are all those elements. So I'm taking that off the table for all of you who are pretending not to be angry sometimes. Go for it. But find a way for you to release it in a way that kind of centers you and allows you to use that and propel you forward into some beautiful action on your part. On my part, I'm using some of my anger to just really, the things that made me angry, like about 2 weeks ago, it's really getting me to clean up some things I got lazy on. I wasn't being really clear with boundaries with people. I wasn't being really clear on what I needed and how I needed my needs to be met. So we really just, sometimes it's an opportunity to change your life in a new and beautiful way. And it's also a way for me to teach my adult male children how to deal with anger in an easier, more positive way, and ways to dispel it so that they can see that you don't have to, go into the depths and the burning of the anger fire. So there are two places where anger takes root in our energy system. One is in the belly, and that's where most people feel it in that belly, it's why we have acid reflux, because that fire just burns in our belly, and it tries to clear it itself, and it throws it up to your throat, and it's the most ridiculous thing we could deal with. Rob gave a really cool comment. He said, "We are a breeze of burning mud." Because that holds the fire, the earth, and the air, which is real, and really water too, because you can't have mud without water. So thanks, Rob. That's really cool. The other place we store anger, which may surprise some of you, because I hadn't really paid attention to this anger personally, but we also store it in our crown chakra. And that may seem sort of like counterintuitive because, well, that's where our connection is to the divine. But if you think about the circumstances, even of what happened recently in Las Vegas, there may be some of you who are angry with God. You're blaming God for what happened. And so your anger is at the higher beings, or your anger is at the divine, because you cannot understand why this is occurring. And so that anger is located more in your crown chakra. And the one thing we don't want to do when we're in anger or in any kind of crisis is to cut our connection off to our divinity, because that's where we're going to get the clear ideas and the clear action and the clear focus. And it's not our job to know why. It's only our job to figure out the lesson behind it and use that lesson to move us forward. So sometimes we need a big wake-up call as a planet, because we're a little complacent right now. We're allowing behaviors to happen. We're allowing it to be okay for things to happen. And those of us who are light workers, we're in this space where we're really angry that other people are allowing this kind of thing to happen. But for people who don't have their sensitivity on high alert, it's going to take quite a bit to kind of knock them in the noggin and get them to wake up, because they're walking around energetically like zombies, So, maybe we needed an event like this to happen that's so senseless, that makes no sense to anyone. We can't even fathom how somebody would get to that point. But maybe that person had a mission to wake us up. Yes, Carla Jo, we are in a state of reacting, not acting. And when I teach in the school about being in our core, in our centered place, that's when we're in a state of action, not in a state of reaction. When something happens and you say it happened to me, and you're allowing yourself to be victimized by the action, then you react from your wounded space. You don't react from your core. And if you think about a cornered animal, that cornered animal is going to snip and bite and scratch at you because it feels trapped. It feels like it doesn't have options. When you have an animal who is out and you are just standing there and allowing them to come to you and to connect to you, it's a much different experience, right? So that's how we actually need to find a way to flip our energy to treat our human friends and our human animals around us in the same way. You know, remembering our humanity is remembering how connected we are to all parts of the earth. Like, we are connected to the animal kingdom. We do have that primal wounded space where we react like an animal, not from our intellect, or our higher being. So when we can find a way to calm our own anger, our own overwhelming emotions, whatever they may be, then we can approach any action from a place of divinity and clarity. So today we're going to start off with, this will be cool to do this live because I'm usually, I don't have to look at a camera while I'm doing a meditation. So this will be cool. So we are going to start off with our healing meditation because I can tell you all the facts your little ego brain needs to know, but that's not going to help you unless you experience it. And my style of teaching is to give you a little information, let you experience it, and then from that place of experience, then you have clearer questions to ask. So I'm going to encourage you to get comfortable wherever you may be, if you can. Really try to put your feet on the ground or sit on the ground if you can, or lay down if you get that luxury. That's really cool. And you want to feel as connected to the earth as you can right in this moment. And keep your legs and your arms uncrossed, because we don't want to cross our circuits. We want to let as much flow run through our body as easily and beautifully as possible. So we're going to just take a couple deep breaths and just allow ourselves to become really in our physical body. It is our temple that we chose to hold our sacred self. And we knew at the beginning of time that this was the exact perfect temple for us to live in this lifetime. So we're just going to connect to the fact that we are so safely in our temple, and we are surrounded by all sorts of divine energy and light. We are protected and surrounded. You may feel angels around you or your ancestors. You may feel light. I feel wings that are wrapping around, kind of like a big cocoon, to hold us steady as a group. And in that space, just allow yourself to know that this moment is for you. And this is your chance to really calm your energy and find how to hold your fire without it burning out of control. So we're going to invite in the divine energy, however you experience that, whether you see that as creator or great spirit, all that is, God or goddess, and ask that it come in to assist you in this healing this evening, this morning, this afternoon, whatever it may be for you. And as you invite that in, you may feel light above your head, you may feel pressure, and that is the divine energy asking your permission. And if you would like to participate in the healing, then you just welcome it to come in and begin to clear you. So you may feel it start to move into your brain, into your head, and gently kind of sweep away any spinning thoughts or ideas that are swirling, just so you can take this moment of now to be one with yourself and one with your healing. And then you may feel it come down behind your eyes and by your ears and clear away any misperceptions or miscommunications, and allow you to hear clearly and be heard clearly. Allow for you to be seen fully and for them to see you fully. And as that moves through, you just allow your jaw to relax if it's tight, because you don't need to hold tightly to your control in this moment. Because right now it is all about you being beautifully healed and protected and safe. And as the energy moves through your throat and through your neck and through your being, you may feel those words that wanted to be said that are stuck, or words that were said in anger wanting to release and be cleared.
Yeah.
And give yourself a little forgiveness for anything you may have said that you didn't mean later. And forgive anyone who said things harshly to you that maybe were said from their wounded place. So releasing any judgment of other people and their words.
Yeah.
And as your throat clears, know that it allows you to speak your own inner truth and your own inner wisdom. However you are meant to express you on the planet, you are allowing that energy to really come forth and be one with you.
Yeah.
And then allow the energy to just simply brush the burdens off of your shoulders. We all are clearing many things that are weighting us down. We have a lot of obligations.
Yeah.
We have a lot of things that we're required to do to walk our walk in this life, and just allow those burdens to release in this moment, because this moment is simply for you. Allow the energy to just release off of you in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
And then allow the energy to come in through your heart, clearing your lungs and your heart so that you have space to breathe fully in your life, that you open your channels of compassion and forgiveness.
Yeah.
You make room for your inner child and your inner warrior to be able to walk together with your sage elder, so that as they walk through life together, you are equipped for whatever is needed.
Yeah.
And now moving into your belly and into your organs and those places where we like to hide our anger. And maybe the anger is just frustration, or it's resentment.
Yeah.
Maybe it's judgment of somebody else. their behavior, their actions or reactions.
Yeah.
Maybe it's anger at yourself for your actions or reactions. And if any of those spaces are squeezing your self-esteem or your self-worth, just allow that energy to sort of release for this moment. Because in this moment, the divine energy is flowing through, and you are exactly as you are meant to be in this moment. There's nothing that is missing. You are complete and whole.
Yeah.
You are on the path you are meant to be on.
Yeah.
And you are guided together to be here in this moment.
Yeah.
Loving and supporting other people who are here, who need to feel the energy of the community working together to heal. Because maybe you are in a space where you need to know that there is a community out there like our beautiful star nations that is creating change through healing.
Yeah.
And then allowing the energy to move down into your lower belly, accessing your water. And allowing the water to flow like an ebb and flow like the tide at the ocean.
Yeah.
For there are times when we need it to come crashing in and times when we need it to gently recede. So having that rhythm within your own body then makes space for your earth and your fire to hold the way they are meant to as well.
Yeah.
And then moving into your lower body, into your hips and your legs and your feet, really calling in the power of the earth energy, the ground and the roots that connect so deeply down through all the layers to the earth mother and her heart and her heartbeat. And feeling that pulsing coming up through the ground to remind you you are one with her as well.
Yeah.
And in this space, we're simply going to check the fire within our belly and the fire in our crown, where the anger can hide in little nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
And if we feel any place where it's squeezing or we have pressure, we just invite the divine energy, the white light, to fill in those places and just gently release it for this moment. And it doesn't take away any circumstances or any events. It simply releases the energy that may be spinning around the memory, which may be causing you to react from your wounded place and not from your calm and centered place.
Yeah.
And any energy that we've cleared, we're just going to gently feel pulled down our body and handed back to Mother Earth. For she composts it and changes it into beautiful change and growth energy for the entire planet. It helps our food grow. It helps our water stay clear. It helps the air that we breathe.
Yeah.
And we're going to invite our earth and our water, our fire and our air to open the channel of communication between them. Because for a few of you, I feel like they're not speaking. So the channel is opening between them. So from the heart to the belly, to the lower belly, to the ground, those are that channel of communication, the relationship between those 4 elements within your body are now communicating so that one doesn't have to do all the work. Because they work much better when they work as a team.
Yeah.
And allowing that energy to really center within you in the very center of your heart line, in the middle of your chakras.
Yeah.
And allowing your heart to speak to all the elements to bring them into peace and unity within you, so that you can hold space for peace and unity to be brought to others.
Yeah.
And so take a couple of deep breaths and just really allow yourself to re-enter your body. Feel if anything has shifted for you.
Yeah.
I'm still clearing. My work as a healer is similar noise-wise to the beautiful Sandra Herrick. It's fun when we're in the same room together. It's a little symphony. I help her and she helps me. It's pretty funny. So I clear the room energetically the way she does, and so for me it makes usually a little burpy noise that you, I'm sure, heard. But if it's something really ancient, then it's much louder. It sounds very much like a hawk. So that is very indicative of energy moving. When it needs to be louder, it's because the ancestors have to take it up rather than it clearing and going into Mother Earth. If it's too much at once for the Earth to process, it's sort of taken up. Thank you, Denise. I'm glad you enjoyed the healing. And Neshi, you. Thanks, Neshi. Neshi is sort of here on the background helping me out today because I have had quite a whirlwind in the past couple of weeks. My school restarted 2 weeks ago, and this is the first year where I have second-year students and first-year students and only a week in between. And in my personal life, all hell broke loose. So I was sort of a tornado and reached out finally to Neshi, and she's like, "Oh, we got you." So thanks you guys for doing that. So when you are working with any of the emotions, remember they're rooted in our elements. So if you call in the earth element, which is, in your root chakra, so from your tailbone down your legs, that will help ground the energy. It keeps you from spinning out of control. It allows you to just be present with your feelings, but it calms you from entering into a state of overwhelm or anxiety or panic. We've all got some kind of flavor that when we get going, we get all revved up and we're unable to kind of be clear in our thinking. Oh, Cindy Lou, Lynn, sorry. Sorry that all hell has broken loose for you too. I think for some of the light workers out there, we needed it to happen because we were ready for the next big step. And we were kind of timidly doing it. And the universe kind of went, yeah, not happening. I definitely needed a boot in my fanny. to kind of like shove me forward. And yes, it had me stumbling for a moment, but it also allowed me to see how many people were around to kind of like swoop me up and like get me back on my feet. And that was a really cool thing. I've even got a couple of friends who, you know, I said something about, you know, I was going to be home tonight by myself for a while, and they weren't okay with that. So they're like swooping in to take me to dinner, because that wasn't going to be a good place for me to sit in for a while tonight. So you never know unless you kind of let the universe reach out and do that for you. So when you need to ground your energy, call in the earth, you know, and if you can't visualize the red of your first chakra to get it to ground, you know, invite in the earth element to bring you in. I was having trouble with both of those as well. So I started doing things like eating more protein and eating a lot of root vegetables. And really, it's going to sound silly maybe, but anything that had to do with a tree, I had to have it. So I had sticks in my room to hold on to. I've been only sitting on chairs that have wooden legs so that my energy is as grounded as it can be. I was like sitting out on my deck, which is all wood. I even laid down on my deck to take a nap to let the wood kind of ground my whole system. You can do that even on the ground, but those were all like primal needs for me to get my energy to like dissipate. And then for some of you, it may be the water flow, and it may be that you're overly crying, or it may be like you're not allowing yourself to feel your feelings. Nope, not going to feel that. We all know somebody who does that if it's not us. So when you need to work on your water flow, then get yourself to water, in water, drink water. I had a student this past weekend, one of my first year students, who wasn't allowing herself to feel her feelings. It was really kind of cute. And she ended up at a hotel with a pool. And her inner mermaid couldn't stay out of the water. So she did a day of swimming in the water, or, you know, at night she went and swam in the water. And the next day she was a hot mess, crying everywhere. And it was because her body took in and released as much. It brought her water to where it needed to be so that she could kind of let her emotions kind of flow. And in terms of food, you know, any of the fruits that have a lot of water, like watermelon and grapes, cucumbers and celery, and some of the lighter green lettuce is very watery. That also works well. And the protein that works for that tends to be pork. I'm not really sure why the pork carries so much water element in it. I just know that from Chinese medicine, that was the what I was told to use, and I have found it to work for me. So I pull that out when I need to get my water in balance. And then with your fire, if you have too much fire, stay away from all the spicy foods. And the other thing that's hard is you tend to want carbohydrates, you tend to want pasta and sugar, and that's actually feeding your pancreas, and that's revving your fire up. So even though that might seem like a comfort food, darn it, you really want to kind of calm your belly. I try to treat my belly like I'm sick. So I go to like the really light soups, you know, and yes, I do like a saltine or something like that, but it's like I really calm the fire down, like as if my stomach was upset. And if you don't have any fire going on and you feel like you've got nothing, well then spice up your food, put the ginger in it, put all of the, you know, go to a good Mexican restaurant and just let your nose run from how hot it is, and pull out the salsa because that will actually get that going. And keep that in mind too, that if you have a big project to do, like those of you who are doing, writing for the magazine, or you're doing some big art project, or you've got this big thing to do, you might need a little more fire, because that helps you fuel you and push you forward. You'll know whether that is the thing that can help you or not. And sometimes that's what you need to kind of add into your diet, or add into calling it in. And then we all know in that air energy, whenever we get stressed out, we stopped breathing. So that's what happens with panic attacks, is that you've closed down your bronchial tubes. And when you do that, you start hyperventilating. And that's because you've closed your heart, because you don't want to feel in your heart. And you want to lean in and allow the breath to go through there. And the air, just get outside if you can. It's one of the best ways. But you can invoke the energy of air with feathers from birds, or you can use a candle, any type of fire. Even though it's fire, the way it moves also brings in the air. So all of those things start to bring you into balance. And when you are looking at things like anger, and I'm using that in such a big general term, you want to kind of make sure that all of your elements are in alignment. Because otherwise, if one is bigger, then it turns into anger, or it turns into fear, or it turns into hate. And because it acts like a volcano. And that's what's been happening, is that a lot of people are squeezing their energy in and not releasing it. And so it's coming out in these volcanoes that are, in some ways people can't understand them. And for me, I've been feeling, I'm sure some of you sensitives have been too, I've been feeling this kind of stuff coming for a few years now. And it's been torture waiting for the ball to drop, and it's like people are walking around like, how can this happen? It's like, I'm more in the, what took it so long? Which is, I mean, I'm not condoning any of the behavior, but I felt it building on the planet and knew there were going to be explosions like this, because it's got to dissipate. And really, some of the things that have been difficult is that I talked about this in my class as well this past weekend, is that it creates a domino effect. Because one tips over, which tips over another, which tips over another, because one person's explosion then triggers the explosion in another person. And it's like, once that ball gets rolling, you can't do anything. So Cindy Lynn is sharing that she's been holding on to a lot, because it's one thing after another and things are going majorly wrong. It hasn't given her time to really process or deal with it, because she has to deal with the next crisis that has come up. Yep, I am on that bandwagon, baby. Yes, had breathing issues, all of it, feeling numb, every state of emotion's been going through. I find myself slowing, withdrawing inward. Thank you for sharing that, Cindy Lynn, because that is what, so I'm going to give you this little lecture. Not really a lecture, but yeah, all those things can be happening at once, Nicole. Panic, crying, anxiety, We had this school weekend. The whole point is to release the energy that is blocking you from being the healer that you're meant to be. So we sort of go in and kind of dredge up what needs to go. And I had people who had that whole range in a 5-minute period, because once you tugged on one, the rest all came flowing out. So like you might have had a old incident where you didn't process it, right? You stuffed it in the corner. And so the old anger around it, the old grieving around it, the anxiety of all the trauma and stress and change it was creating in a short window of time might have happened. And it's like, you just do it all. Cool thing is, if it happens all at once, you're probably going to get through it faster. And just stay as grounded as you can. The isolating that people like to do, that's actually you shutting your energy down, unfortunately. And I'm somebody who has been going through all of that at the moment. And because I've been going through all that, there is a part of me that wants to like go under the covers and put them over my head and not move. And maybe it'll all go away. But that is absolutely the worst thing for me to do because it's just staying in my energy system longer. You may not be able to handle the energy of being around a lot of people, but reach out to those people that you feel comfortable and safe with and go out and be with them. Get moving and get outside. Even if the weather's kind of funky, just try to get outside for a little bit. And basically you're recharging your nature battery, if that makes sense. And Nicole's under the covers right now. Well, I tell you, if I didn't have this show to do today, I probably would have found a way to do that. I probably would have found a way to be like, nope, I can't. Too much. That would be me in my victim mode. And I am choosing not to feed my inner victim. That's my own personal choice. So for me, I know that my victim is the one who isolates and who's like, oh, all this is happening to me. And yes, I get that, Rob. Rob just said, it's been hitting me since I found in my Facebook group, and it only hits harder as time passes. I have been having a lot of that. As we step up in our purpose and the more we put ourselves out there, the more our self-care has to go up. And I mean, really go up. So one of the things that I worked with, I'm working with 3 different energy workers who do slightly different things with me every single week right now, because the only way for me to, one of them is helping me move like old energy out. One of me is helping me repair energy that I've depleted in ways that I didn't realize. And another one is really working with me on my divine feminine energy, getting back to where she needs to be, because my goddess took a big hit. And so I am really, reclaiming my power by taking care of myself and putting myself first, because I don't have any bandwidth to help anybody else if I don't. So for those of you who are feeling a lot of energy hitting you, it's because you're getting really close to your next big purpose and your next big thing. And we sabotage ourselves by allowing those things to hit us and knock us down, or as an excuse to not do what we're supposed to do. And I had, yes. Oh, thank you. I like that, recharging your nature battery, because we're all earth beings. We're all part of the, we're divine beings in an earthly body, and we need both energy to keep us on task and on our purpose. And we tend to leave one or the other out. It doesn't mean that we don't want to do both, but we either spend all our time doing our spiritual stuff or we do all our physical stuff. And our poor inner child is not having playtime. It feels neglected. Our inner warrior, if we're constantly running around, it doesn't know what our purpose is and what it's supposed to be working on, what our personal battle is, what we're supposed to really focus on, and if my purpose is to heal the healers so that you guys can get to work, which it is, I can't do any work for you if I'm not taking care of me. And it's my job to get you back on track. And that's the cool thing about, Star Nation's giving me this platform is I can be here and I can reach so many more healers than I could in my little tiny, I'm in Massachusetts, I'm in the hills, I could reach some, I've got, 20 students in my school, but, which is great because then they'll impact that many more. But I'm reaching the planet this way. And I've done distance healings for people in New Zealand and Japan and Ireland. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have this kind of venue. And I know that there are people who will get this energy healing at a future date because they're gonna listen to it when they need it. And there's going to be people that I'm reaching that I had no idea I was going to reach today, because the universe is going to make sure they see it. And the more I just trust that I'm doing my job and how I'm supposed to, that's how that's going to work. And I can't do that if I'm holding on to my old energy. If I'm holding on to that old anger, I can't do my job. If I let somebody else's anger knock me over and I lay there, then I'm not doing my job. It's the bigger our job, the more I don't want to call it dark energy, but it's like that negative energy out there that, maybe doesn't want all the light workers to do all of their work at full capacity. And we just get to stand there and go, no, you're not going to bully me into not doing what I'm supposed to do and how I'm supposed to do it. And you just call in the troops. You call in your friends. You create a bigger support network for yourself. And when you create a community like Star Nations has created for us, you have a way to tap into a support system that can help you get through. So whether it's my show giving you a meditation or some energy work on your chakras, or whether Denise is saying the exact right thing in her card reading that speaks to you and helps you get through the rest of your week, or you're listening to the different shows that all are about walking your path. There's every single week, there's a bunch of shows on that I'm like, oh my God, how did they know I needed that show today? How did they know I needed that show? Well, because the divine is just guiding all of us to say what is needed to be said at the right time. And so my message today is stop holding on to your old anger. Stop holding on to your old fear. Stop holding on to the anxiety, because it's allowing yourself to be you're bullying yourself. And I am somebody who, a lot of stuff going on right now. And my post-traumatic stress got ramped up, and I haven't had that in years, probably 6 years since I've actually gone into that kind of adrenal fight or flight mode. And at least this time it was kind of why is that happening? That doesn't usually happen. That hasn't happened in a long time. What are you doing on? So I could kind of look at what energy got in there and why was my body responding that way, because I'm aware of it. And then I can, find ways to give it an eviction notice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Cindy Lynn says, heck, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing to help others and all that. I also drive myself nuts there. So, I think what happens is that we're sort of brainwashed in school that what you do is who you are. And because we think we have to do what we are, we get all sorts of whacked out about what we do for a job, or how we walk our walk. But the reality is, like, when we are, back on the other side, our job doesn't matter. It was how we lived our life, whether we were how often we were in our integrity, how often we were shining our light, and whether we were open to our connection as a divine being or not. And the more we can kind of just allow whatever to be, that stuff just starts to flow really quickly, and it doesn't matter what you do. One of the things I love to say to my students at school is, they show up and they think they have this big purpose, because we all do, but we make it into this huge, like, I'm supposed to be Gandhi. And it's like, even Gandhi didn't know he was supposed to be Gandhi. He just was like, I'm me. And the more me he was, the more stuff that happened for him, and your job may be to be a waitress, because other people need food and they need to eat, and they need to not feel alone, and they need somebody to smile at them and say hi and how are you doing, because they've got nobody else to care about them. So that may be your purpose. We've all been in a restaurant where the waitress is amazing. You feel like you're at home, like you're getting waited on by your grandma, and you're just like, you have a great experience. And then we have people who wait on us who are definitely don't belong there. They're doing it because it's a paycheck. And so when you are being who you're meant to be, and shining that however you're meant to be, then everything, you just show up to everyone differently. And imagine if, the tragedies can't happen if the people around them were showing up. The tragedies happen because the wounded people are only surrounded by wounded people who feed their victim, who make them feel powerless, and they build to such a way that they want to be seen and they want to be heard. And their logical brain is not working with their divine brain. And so, it just doesn't flow right. And unfortunately, they got the attention they wanted, but not really in the way, they didn't ask in a way that was clear. And yes, Margaret posted something about the light versus dark and the inner and the outer bully. A lot of the things that have been happening, we were discussing it at school this weekend, is our planet in the past has been a planet of duality. So it's black, white, light, dark, and the interesting thing is, somehow we all know that that's not true any longer, that there is no black or white in any situation. It is mostly gray. And so And when we look at people, there's all shades of colors. It's not like one or two or three or whatever. It's a multitude. It's a rainbow. And more of our kids, and even by kids, I mean people in their 20s, they see the rainbow. They don't see black and white. And so the things of good, bad, and dark and light aren't working for them because they hold the energy of the entire rainbow. And what's cool about that from an energy perspective is they're seeing all of the chakras. They're not seeing open, closed chakras. They're seeing all of the chakras and how they work together. So they're seeing your entire soul, and they're wanting to reach out and tap into your entire soul. It's why genders and stuff are kind of like having difficulty, and they're sort of disappearing, and traditional relationships are disappearing because they're meeting on a soul to soul level, which is how we move into our heart chakra as a planet. And the only way to do that is for us to let go of energy that's keeping us in survival mode, keeping us wounded. So in the energy of, we're getting toward the end of the show, I just want to circle back to calming your fire, calming your anger. It's not meant in a place of judgment. I said earlier, use your anger, allow yourself to have anger, and use it in a productive way. I am a big one on asking Mother Nature to allow me to act out my anger, and then I say thank you. I do a ritual thank you for allowing me to release my energy this way so that I don't hold it and carry it and bring it forth to other people. And so for me, the anger is an easier one for me to release. But on the flip side, I'm a big crier, but I have other people who are big anger people and have a hard time crying. So we try to hang out together and bring each other back into balance. So I want to thank you guys for coming for my first show and really being in the place where I feel like you all showed up for me, showed up for my purpose. You showed up for Star Nations and really allowed their work to step up to the next level. And all of us together bring that community forward. And I can feel the ripple of energy that is going out to meet new people. As we move into this new platform, there's this huge opportunity to really ripple forward in a way that we couldn't before. So thank you to all of you guys who checked in. You can check me out. Yay. Hi, guys. It's like, yay, I love seeing you. Thank you. If you want to check me out, I'm at trinityhealingsanctuaries.com. That's where my website is for my healing sanctuary. TrinityMysticalEnergy.com is my school if you want to know more about how to expand your healing as a healer in a different way. Because we really clear your energy to make room for who you are to come forward. Because I firmly believe we're all here to heal the planet in our own special way. It may not be a hands-on healer. It may be being a painter, or it may be a writer. So really, really, really step into your light. Thank you guys for being here for me. And I am so thankful that we are in a new venue where we can shine our light even brighter. So have a blessed day, a blessed week, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week here on Chakra Sessions. Thanks, guys. Have a great time. Mwah. Thanks, guys.